Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the M40 M43. It's the Tier 8 American SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Malinovka, and it's under the command of Guppy1974. And you can see his equipment is a rammer, a gun lane drive, and a camo net. And this happens to be the 155mm armed M40. Game on. Well, based on the hull of the Sherman, the M4, it's actually quite a potent arty. It was actually designed to replace the M12, because of course that was a very hastily designed artillery SPG based on the M3 hull, not the M4. Rounds out for the first shot, and he gets damage on the FV215B. Now, it's a tier 10 game with tier 8 tanks in it, so plenty of opportunity for him to make extra XP out of this one. The standard reload by the book is 44.1 seconds with the big 8-inch, but with the 155 it's a lot quicker, and in fact the reload is 29.72 by the book, and you can see that obviously Guppy has managed to reduce his reload time to about 22 seconds. We'll see the exact time when it comes up, because at the moment it's not showing on the screen. He's firing as fast as he has the shell loaded. Okay, he's loaded and rounds out. And he gets a hit for 150 off that one. Yes, I do apologise, it's not actually showing the reload times. I think the mods need to be a bit tweaked again to make it work. And before he can get his next round off, the target's been destroyed. Okay, so he's now looking at the spotting bush, because there might be somebody sitting there who's spotting on our guys. So we're going to put a shell into that spot. Rounds out. Oh, I think we saw the reload time. It's about 25 seconds, actually. Now, you can get a lot more rounds out, but they do less damage. With the 155mm round, the HE rounds will actually do 600 alpha and 39mm of pin with 7.2 meters on the burst radius between 11.5 and 23 seconds. It's about the same as the M12, actually. Rounds out. Just short of the IS-7, but it did stun him. And he got rid of the stun using his first aid kit, so he's not going to be able to do that again for a while. Everyone's seeming to form up into lines and using the windmill for cover. And he's stunning a lot of them there. In fact, he got 3 stuns, and he is picking up some... Is he picking up stun assist? Well, not yet, actually, funnily enough. I think it's because his teammates aren't pushing. Now, the trouble is, if you get too close to the windmill, you won't get a shot on target, because it might hit the windmill. Oh, well, that was a good shot. He actually did damage there. And the A phase won the T10, and he got the stun as well. And it looks like the enemy Arty, who happens to be an M40, M43 as well, is also firing at our guys, as you'd expect. Now, he's quickly switched down here, because this Scorpion is sitting there behind the barn, shooting through the center of the building, I think at some of our teammates. It's the tier 8 Scorpion. Now he fires down the side to try and get some stun on him. And we seem to be doing quite well up here, because at least one enemy tank has met his end. That was the A phase 1. So we're going to stun these guys and see if we can get some more stun assists. He's got the communications expert working. That's now popped up. So 2.5% extra on the crew skills. Rounds out again. And yes, he gets damage off the IS-7. And now they've got a Contradictious moving up. Okay, there's some more stun assist off the T10. So that's working. Of course, the more stun assist you can get, the higher the chance you've got of getting a mastery ranking. And the IS-7 goes down before our shell arrives, but we still get some stun on the T10. He goes down, and that leaves the Contradictious on the enemy team as the only remaining enemy heavy up on the hill. And he's having to retreat now because he's facing quite a few at the same time, and he can't afford to face too many guns. In fact, he's losing hit points. He's about to go. Rounds out. Oh! And that might have actually ended up... Well, the shell went over the target just as he died, so I'm not sure if he would have got something out of that, but I'm hoping, hopefully, it was on target. 60 TP holding this corner. Wrong place for the 60 TP. Fire one in, and that's a direct hit. Now, you notice the enemy have fallen away on the east side of the map. In fact, the only tank they've got over there at the moment, which is a heavy, has fallen right back. And in fact, he just died. That was the BZ-168. And with him out of the equation, that means that the east side of the map with probably has the enemy Arty is vulnerable. And our guys can come streaming down the hill now. If they're looking at the mini-map, they should be able to see it. And I think that ELC on the enemy team is worried as well. Well, the Scorpion has gone AFK, I think. Yes, because he's not moving at all. He may have disconnected, but that makes him very vulnerable. So we should keep pumping those shells into the Scorpion to get rid of him as quickly as possible. Yeah, I think he's given up on this game. He's decided that 5-0 down, or 8-3, is probably not worth playing, so he's given up. Meanwhile, the other enemy players are still playing, and our ELC has moved up now. Okay, so he's spotting for us. We lost sight of the enemy heavy. Oh, that was a direct hit. So firing the shell in as he did there actually did get a direct hit, but it's a blind hit, so we're not going to find out how much he did with that shot. You've got much less chance of penetrating a tier 10 with the 155mm gun than you have with the 203mm 8-inch howitzer. He's going to try for the 60 TP, who knows that the shell's coming, and so he backed up. Guppy's decided he needs to get closer to the enemy. There's 60 TP and VK4502A are both holding up our team down on the west side of the enemy cap area. Meanwhile, that heavy that was sitting, the FV215B, who's in the woods at the back, and the Scorpion goes down. Nice kill. Yes, that FV215B has pulled back, and he's stopping our guys moving any further south. The guys up on the hill, they need to come down. They're wasted up there at the moment. But at least we've got the VK4502A, and there's the 60 TP, but it's difficult to hit. That should be about right. Rounds out. Good shot.
Just missed. Don't ease off now.
Just over the top, but it did stun him, and he is taking damage, so we are getting the stun assist. Now up over 2,000. Okay, we can see the trees going down, so we know he's there, and he's making a nest, trying to provide camo for himself. But as he's doing that, he's actually saying, here I am. And that's a direct hit. He did exactly the right thing. And the FV215B got spotted because of it. So that's 2 direct hits he's had on this guy. And now he's having to back away from that camo nest. Of course, the FV215B does have fairly good armor on the front of the vehicle. Of course, it's a front engine vehicle with a rear turret. Well, there's only 5 enemy tanks remaining, and the 60 TP's finally under pressure from our conceiver. And he's still putting up a fight, though, so we could put a round in there. See if we could slow him down a bit. Oh, well, unfortunately, our conceiver made a bit of a bad choice there. Exposed his weak armor, and the 60 TP took advantage. Of course, he's got a 152mm gun. And look at this SU-130 PM here, desperately trying to hide on the lake area. Now, if that's not a pontoon, what would I say? The pier. If that pier goes, he gets damaged, we'd know he was there, but he did actually get spotted, and he's out the game. Killed, in this case, by the ELC M90. And that leaves just 1 enemy tank remaining, the 60 TP, and he's over on that west side. And that's a case of everyone wanting the kill for themselves. All the guys who are on the hill have come down at last. In fact, Guppy said, ELC, you are my hero, because he actually did not only take out that tank, the SU-130 PM, but he also exposed or spotted some of the enemy tanks to help our teammates get shots. Okay, so can we put a shot in to stun this guy? Yes, we can. Rounds out. And that was good. That stunned him. It slows him down, makes it more difficult for him to reload. He's used up his first aid kit, so he can't get rid of the stun. And there you go. And that's a Confederate as well, all on top. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for Guppy1974 in the M40, M43. Congratulations, he actually managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one, he managed to get 13, and he got a Confederate right at the last moment by stunning the S60 TP, who then got taken down by his teammates, and that was the 6th one. At least, I think that's the one that qualified him for the Confederate. His win rate wasn't particularly high. That's 2,147, which is very good, but I think it was down to the fact that he was doing more stun assists than he was actual damage on the enemy, and that's down to the fact that it was a 155mm gun rather than the 8-inch howitzer. With the 8-inch, you'd expect to do a lot of damage. Each shot is going to be potentially worth between 350, 400 hit points, whereas with the 155, well, you can't really expect that much. At the most, you're likely to get about 200, maybe 150 each shot, and you'll be lucky if you get more than that, because of course, remember 600 alpha, but if you get 300, you're lucky. But he still did very well to get that score. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see he didn't get the highest damage in the game. Guppy1974 got 1,796, but the highest score in the game actually turned out to be that 60 TP right at the end of the game. He got 4,093 hit points of damage, and I think a couple of those last few shots that he fired actually contributed towards him getting the high amount, but he didn't get the high caliber because he wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool, and of course, yes, it was a tier 10 game. Second highest damage was the Conqueror, who got 4,029 hit points of damage. And third was the IS-7 on our team with 3,411 hit points of damage. And we can see that, yes, with that score, he's got 4 people ahead of him on the enemy team, and he's got 6 people ahead of him, which means that Guppy happens to be 11th when it comes to damage. When it comes to kills, though, we can see it's the 60 TP got 4 kills in the game. 3 kills went to... Whoop, that's better. 3 kills went to the Conqueror, the IS-7 on our team, and 2 kills went to the Dravek on our team as well. Only 4 players on the enemy team actually managed to get kills in that game. When it came to base XP, we can see that, yes, Guppy's in 3rd place because top scorer is the ELC. He did so much spotting, and he picked up a patrol duty. 1,195 went to him, 1,143 went to the Conqueror, and 1,120 went to Guppy in third place, with, of course, his Confederate. There were 2 other players who managed to make it over 1,000 base, and even the IS-7 did 965. So the players on this team were doing rather well. He fired 23 rounds. You get more rounds out with the 155 because it's got a shorter reload. 6 direct hits on the enemy. 1 of them was a penetrating shot and 24 splash. 1,796 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 1, so I suspect that he managed to get a slightly better score than somebody else who also had a Confederate on the cards. And he got 3,019 hit points of spotting assist, or damage assist rather, stun assist of 25 stuns. So a lot of stuns, and sometimes he was actually stunning more than 1 tank at the same time, right up on top of the hill. Sometimes it was 3 tanks at the same time were getting stunned. He earned 51,719 credits from the game. Didn't get any bonuses, but that's still a very good score for the 155mm. And he got 4,200 experience points out of it as well. So a decent game there by Guppy to get an ace tanker in the M40, M43 with the stock gun, which of course it is the stock gun, the 155. And they did make more of these. In fact, they made, originally they made 24 of the M40 GMCs. In fact, they made 1 of each, the M40 and then the M43 to go to Europe during the Second World War. But they made 24 for use in Korea. And they were going to build a lot of them, but they cancelled the contract after a while. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.